Get all the royalty to make our way over to the sliding doors on the east side. We are ready to get going here. Thank you, Yabe. They'll be singing 3 more songs. The next song will be the veteran song. All right, thank you very much, Iabe, and thank you everybody else. We're going to introduce our VFW flag bearers and also our Red Lake Nation royalty. We'll start with the royalty. When you hear your name called, kids, step up and wave at everybody. Starting with the Panema Head Start Princess, Cambria Johnson. The Panema Head Start Brave, Robert Kobanes III. The Red Lake Head Start Princess, Anve Shaneborn. The Red Lake Head Start Brave, Chaske Wilson. Panema Elementary Princess, Rihanna Cloud. Panema Elementary Brave, Cole Kingbird. Red Lake Elementary Princess, Grace Needham. The Red Lake Elementary Brave, Adrian White. St. Mary's School Princess, Anaya Johns. St. Mary's School Brave, John Henry Defoe. The Panema Labor Day Princess, Jacinda Kingbird. The Panema Labor Day Brave, Trayson Cloud. The Red Lake High School Princess, Araya Sumner. And the Red Lake High School Brave, Steve Bellinger Jr. The Red Lake Nation Junior Princess, Natani Caldwell. The Red Lake Nation Junior Brave, Kate Dow. Red Lake Nation Senior Princess, Elise White. The Red Lake Nation Senior Brave, Sydney Kingbird. The BSU Princess, Sophia Barrett. And our Red Lake Nation Elders Gathering Queen, Sylvia Brancho. And the King, Ed Strong. Thank you, kids and older kids. And now our VFW Post 6889, Johnny Boy Barrett. Lucas Bratvold. John Dudley. Darwin Sumner. Kevin Rosebear. Bob Smith. And Earl Fairbanks. Some of these gentlemen actually were out in Arizona. They attended the Ira Hayes flag raising ceremony. That was Rocky Cook, Jim Loud, Eugene Standing Cloud, Kevin Rosebear, and John Dudley. So let's have a round of applause for them. Before we get into the introduction of the council members, we'd like to call up Franny Miller to come give us our prayer.
Among the elite. Bonjour. Se magip mini go nongum chiga not mo na go. We ni chiga gigi tot mo go go ga ni boyat kinawia. Me go chinde na gi semonito. We to ko ke ninge go no ni go yan. Go ge ga pindi ge shmuat ka kiwe onanga kat kona muat. Go ge oskia ya ag ka vindi ge shmuat. O koe ke kia ia age magaya at. O age magi toki maminan. O noa uito, kau ito kagote. Katina kamigi seat. Mi wachinde na kina uia. Kagwechi met chuito kazoan. Wataske kat. Kagagi gitot pane. Gas. Hospital ayat napskogi tuk nungum. Wewe ni kita mkweni mawa. Asema kita sawa. Oge basic. Kiwenzi. Goe kega yawat. Aku tika mikong. Kasinsi bakko tuapinewat. Kamsikuya pinewat. Kita mkweni mana ni kinawia. Wewe ninga gochi mao. Niga ni mani to chui toko nang kinagego. Chui toka sa toma. Henda na kamigisieg. Henda na kamigisiang. Wewe ni geni na oe. Pigo gochi mi goyan. Kaon siya ko ni mo sityo tap nag-asema. Wewe ni kweni magwak kinawia. Awe siyok. Misiyaka yawat. Goike ma nukpiminga pa yawat. Shpiming. Nibing. Mitakamig. Oike na inabuso kainint. Goike at sokanak. Kinawia kita kweni manan. Kita soin intimate kakina. Wewe ni gegi nunt oe. Pimatising. Minob pimosing. Wito kawing itani ko kuwa binotio kau mi tua ni snabe mon. Estoa ke na. Wewe ni gegi nunt oe. Wito kawatanik. Kitia ya ak kakskitosi watin tibi shawat. Ikweni matani ko kinawia. Pupini government besot. Ansna. Kawin gikenda sinwanti napineot kayo na. Chani minupimatisyot. Chani utapinamuat o epimatisyon. Chani pumusayot o emi kanagasin katek. Wewe ni gegi nuinta oe. Shaweni matani kinawia. Kegon shkazumake na uya. Kegon shkadse kegon na uya kekanunat. Uwe kegi bibim yak. Wewe ni toto. Wewe ni kanunik. Asnami gapi going kegi nuin kipin tawaging. Wewe ni chikanuin man gituanik. Kitip matisiyo na nanik. Wewe ni genin oe gipanunik oan chikanutumogo ko dinoy magan. Apchiki shoy ni minim knawe magaya ek. Uwe get magawit mi tuat kit matisiyo na nan. Wewe ni genin na chanip musewat. Chanip mi tuat kinagego. Me isipagusini maga manito. Chiwitok ko inang chiwitok ko at uwe pinuchiya. Oe gek chanish na begawat. Kakskitosi wa matibishawat. Kanuin mga nanik. Kanuin dagusyog. Kanuin ni mekongkoe. Uskiaya ak. Itugi mami nanik. Oge ako si kamingo kayawat. Mikweni matanik kina. Wewe ni gegi nap mosek. Wewe ni tanakamigisik. Wewe ni shawainentik. Kishawaini men nemapicha. Wewe ni gegi na oe bisindamo kuikagi gitoat kinawia. Kego papinen dangin kego. Kego papine ima ken kityan shnabe. Penweng. Miga shikna magusing. Ugoege bibian sagak kinamongitonik. Shawain dagusyat. Chipmi toat kita kainweng. Kisemuni to fuito caution. When you was young, go and you work at the motion. Ah, didn't magnetic. Kiswani men name up picture. And so when you go quick on you, but quick get stuck. Got me toward not key on it. Me going to key on. Ugoege got kinagomwat. So when Douglas yoga picture. Kend what kai kitwat one measure. Kimishom sinanik, kokom sinanik. Gawin ni sagitan we si kinagamueg. Wewe nip mi toke nagamuin. Wewe nigegi na oe kio anon pindige toeg. Oe gea puputa chiga neska bachitoen. Wewe ni miton. Kita tsika na kite imion. Niga pes chigeat meso. Wewe ni jan snabek. Kan singendan in kei. Dino magani tugetta. Kina magani boyeg. Miigotski tinninim. Miigotski togi mamnan. Miigotski okna we maga pisaat. Wewe nigegi nap madisiok. Miigotski tinninim. Sanoit mukindigo makon totem. Miigotski tinninim kinauya. Aha.
Thank you, Francis. Maybe they'll catch you if you try to jump. All right, so we can excuse our royalty. Gentlemen, you can post your flags. And we'll continue on in the program, and where we will be introducing you to our tribal council members and our chiefs. We'd like to start by introducing you to our Red Lake representatives, Bob Smith and Donald Good. You can stand up, gentlemen, and wave to the crowd. Panema representatives, Glenda Martin and Gary Nelson. Little Rock representatives, Michelle Kobanes and Harlan Bolio. Huh? Adrian. That's my own district. I don't know what the heck's wrong with me. Sorry, Adrian. Suppose I'll expect my eviction letter here pretty soon. Redby, Al Pemberton, and Julius Thunder. Oh, that's why I had Adrian Pemberton on here. That's what it was. No, I was just kidding. Our chiefs, Darwin Sumner, Chief Dan King, Chief Henry Sutton, Chief Arlen Jourdain, and Chief Greeting Spears, who is not here with us today. Also, we'd like to introduce our treasurer, Annette Johnson. Secretary Sam Smith. Seb Strong. I guess this will be my final year of talking for the state of the band. Feel like I'm at the basketball game last night again. And Chairman Daryl Seekey. Woo. Huh? I said him. Come on, I'm already messing up, man. I don't need any encouragement. All right, on to the names that I don't know now. All right, introducing our dignitary and guests who are here with us today on the federal level. Andy Martin, Regional Director for U.S. Senator Amy Klobuchar. Raven Gibbs, Native Outreach Director for U.S. Senator Tina Smith. Leroy Stump, representing Congressman Colin Peterson. And from Indian Country, we'd like to welcome Andy Wells, Red Lake member and president of Wells Technology and the Wells Academy. Dave Morrison, Secretary Treasurer of the Boys Fort Band. Farron Jackson, the Chairman of the Leech Lake Band. On the state level, Roger Gnu Mo, Red Lake adoptee and former DFL State Senate Majority Leader. John Purcell, DFL State Representative, District 5A. Jeremiah Lean, DFL candidate, State Representative for the Red Lake District 2A. Carrie Howe, Minnesota Department of Employment and Economic Development, the Northwest Project Manager. Teresa Ebengay, thank you. I knew I was going to mess that one up. Minnesota DNR, Northwest Minnesota Regional Director. Pat Zaneta, Minnesota Captain of the DNR. Carrie Ross, the DNR Planner. And now on the county level, Tim Sumner, Red Lake County Commissioner and Red Lake Band Member. Reed Olson, Beltrami County Commissioner. Richard Anderson, Beltrami County Commissioner. Jim Lukacek, Beltrami County Commissioner. Ernie Bytel, Beltrami County Sheriff. Kay Mack, Beltrami County Administrator. Becky Secor, Beltrami County Director of Health and Human Services. Len Bergstrom, former Beltrami County Land Commissioner. And now from the city of Bemidji, Rita Albright, Mayor of Bemidji and candidate for State Senate District 5. Nate Matthews, City Manager of Bemidji. And Mike Maston, the Chief of Police of Bemidji. And now the Friends of the Red Lake Nation, we have John Eggers, creator and project of the Graduate 100%, or 100% graduation. My former principal. Dave Hengel, Executive Director of Greater Bemidji. Tim Flathers, Executive Director of the Headwaters Regional Development. Ryan Zamak, Economic Director of the Headwaters Regional Development. Curtis Hunt, the Chair of the Beltrami County DFL. And Mary Forney, the Vice Chair of the Beltrami County DFL. Moving on in the program, we are going to begin the State of the Band address. The way we're going to do it this year is that the program directors will be coming up and giving a report on their program to everybody. And I just want to remind the program directors, when you're up here, you have 5 minutes. Each 5 minutes, I will let you know when you're at the 4-minute mark, and at 5 minutes, we will cut your microphone. Daryl said you only get 5 minutes because he needs at least 3 hours for his speech when he's up there. I'm going to regret that one when he gets up. All right. So starting with the State of the Band address, we'd like to ask Secretary Sam Strong to come up and give his report.
Bonjour, bimose gnu indigenakas, makwan dudem, miskwa gamuiz agani and donjaba. It's with great pride and honor that I welcome you to our State of the Band 2020. And there's a lot that we've accomplished over this past year. And it's a will and testament to all the good work of all the Red Lake Band members, both the employees as well as all of our community members. We accomplished what we accomplished because of your hard work. And our collaboration in that work is what we're all about here. And so miigwech for all your hard work. I first want to honor the drum group. Thank you so much power in the drum. And I also want to honor our royalty and our veterans. Let's have a round of applause for them. These are the things that give us strength, our identity, our culture, our way of life. And for that, I thank you for being warriors of that and for continuing on with the legacy of our ancestors. Here, we have an election this year. 4 district representatives are up, one from Little Rock, Red Lake, Red Bee, and Panema. This will be on May 20th. And as we move into the election season, I urge those candidates running to think about what commonalities we have as Red Lakers, the things that make us unique, the protection of our lake, the protection of our youth, our children, our women, the protection of our land and our trees and our water, our sovereignty. These are the things that we need to protect, and these are the things that we should be thinking about as we come up with strategies to uplift our community and to uplift our next generation. This year, we enrolled over 1,200 band members under our new enrollment ordinance, and for this, I am proud to be a part of it. I want to share a couple stories of that day when we enrolled these members. There was a young lady that came up to us after we had the vote, and she was crying tears of joy, and she thanked us. She thanked us for helping to complete her identity, to bring her back into the fold, to a place that she could call home, a place that she could then raise her children and her grandchildren, and for the next 7 generations. We had a drum group we've been inviting to our council meetings of young people from our school. And some of those drum group members were part of this new list, and we welcome them with open arms. We also welcome our lobbyists, our lawyers, our teachers, our doctors, our scientists. These are the people that will fight our modern day wars. These are wars that will be fought in the courtroom. These are wars that we fight against invasive species in our lake. Wars against racial discrimination that our people see in the police and the court systems. The discrimination that we see in the neighboring communities. We're the warriors of today, the warriors that will represent our people in a good way. And as we move forward, we look at enrollment, and we look at a system that was meant to oppress us. That is, the current system of blood quantum was meant to eliminate our people. It was meant to oppress ourselves, to divide our people. And I'm proud that we are starting to move away from this system. However, the change that we made is only a temporary solution. It does buy us some time. It gives us time to meet with our band members and continue to talk about more strategies to make a permanent solution for our enrollment. So our reservation will be here forever. So our people for the next 7 generations will carry on our traditions, will protect all that is dear to us. And let us not be mistaken. The fight for our natural resources, the fight for our lake and our land and our trees, it is not over. These same entities that wish to take it from us in 1889, they still want these resources. And it's important that we come together, that we band behind these commonalities that we all have to protect these things that were given to us, to protect our language, our culture, our way of life. If you drive through Red Lake, you'll see some of the great things that we've done in our community. You'll see a new store. You'll see a new Red Lake Center. You'll see a new treatment center in Panema, as well as new fire halls. But you'll also see more programming for the youth at our Boys and Girls Club. You'll see more collaboration between the tribe and the school system. You'll see a holistic methodology for dealing with addiction and some of the ills that some of our people are faced with. And you'll see a people that are uniting behind one another to support our young group coming up. We need to show them a better path. Give them the skills they need to succeed. And a big part of that is by us as adults showing them the unity that they need to overcome all these battles of today. And so I ask you, each one of you, to be a part of this change, to be a part of our education, to help teach our next generation what it means to be a Red Laker. These commonalities that we all hold, our language, our culture, our identity. If we band together, we can overcome anything that we're faced with. And so I ask of you to do that, to band together for our next generation, and to make a better nation for our future. Miigwech.
And next up, we have Treasurer Annette Johnson.
Buju, Ishkuregi Gukwe Indigenikaz, Migazi and Dudame, Obashing and Donjaba, Misquagami Wizagaigan Inda. Good morning and welcome to all tribal members, visitors, and members of the Tribal Council. It's a good day and an honor to be here with you for a brief update from our council on our State of the Band 2020. I would like to first acknowledge and thank our elder Zhawan for the opening prayer to begin our program, our royalty for your representation, ambassador to our nation, the veterans for the service you have selflessly given, and lastly, the singers for the appropriate songs. To begin, I'm actually going to be referring to some notes, so bear with me. We're going to highlight 2018, which actually contains our audited numbers. It's more historical, and then we'll kind of touch on some of the present. Construction projects ongoing in many aspects. Many were from USDA-funded loan and/or grant combinations for the improvement of health and safety, including fire halls, ambulances, and equipment, Red Lake and Red Bee community centers, water tower and sewer projects, transfer station garage, treatment center, and expansion of services for childcare, training, and storage. Loan proceeds from USDA increased from almost $2 million in 2017 to $5.2 million in 2018, which is over a 250% increase of year over year. The permanent trust fund showed a net investment loss and interest income and service charge expense of $6 million in 2018, with a tribal distribution of $200 per tribal member, totaling approximately $2.4 million. $465,000 was allocated for reforestation projects, and approximately $1.2 million was left for tribal government operations, including the veterans, community center programming and improvements, and culture and language. The amount available in 2019 was approximately $4.1 million, again with a $200 distribution to tribal members, reforestation budgetary needs, and the tribal government receiving the additional amounts. The amount available for 2020 is similar to the previous years, with about $4.1 million, of which the purpose and distribution has not been determined or authorized yet by Tribal Council. Revenue highlights of 2018. Operating grants and contributions were approximately $63 million. Capital grants and contributions, 2.6. Tax revenues were 3.7. Those were the highest categories, which total about $77 million. Expenses, the highest categories were health services, almost $25 million, social services at 12.5, general government 10.7, public works 9.4, and public safety 8.6. Our total expenses for the year were $97 million. Payroll, we had almost 1,200 W-2s we issued from the government, and our total payroll wages were approximately $35 million. Our 2019 numbers are unaudited, but will be available when the audit is complete. Areas that we are looking for new sources of revenue and funding include government business fees, 105L leasing, that is pretty significant for the tribe. In fact, Red Lake is the leader, and other tribal nations are looking to us for guidance on how to do this. This actually impacts our self-governance programs of the Criminal Justice Center and soon our fire halls. Another area we expanded cautiously into 2019 is increasing our third-party billing revenues. which included the Red Lake Medication Assistance Recovery Services, otherwise known as MARS, that showed approximately 3.6 million collected. The partnership between Red Lake and our urban NAC, Native American Community Clinic, is almost 2.2 million, of which our profit share is approximately 340,000 for 2019. And finally, the Children's Healing Center collected about 46,000, of which 95,000 was billed for. Our total assets were 128 million, total liabilities about 54 million, which shows our fund balance of about 74 million. In 2018, our total debt represented 36 million, of which 5 million is current debt. Our net position decreased by 15 million due to decrease in revenues, of which 5 million represented investment income loss in December of 2018, which we were able to recover in 2019. Additionally, expenses were higher overall, but as you heard, and you'll hear from the program directors and probably chairman mentioned, other things that are happening for the nation. Now I'll move on to gaming. In 2018, our net income decreased. We were pretty flat from 2017. In 2019, we're proud of the success that we are able to provide for our tribal members. We employed almost 700 employees. Tribal member employment rate at each site is about 88% in Red Lake, 62% in Thief River, 20% in Warroad, and 36% in corporate. Total net revenue in 2019 is slightly up 0.6% or 322,000 compared to prior year. Red Lake Gaming was able to reduce other costs to realize a net income of 7.85 million, which is 3.7 million more than 2018. During 2019, tribal distributions totaled 5.2 million, which is an 8.5% increase from 2018. 2019 also brought changes to the casinos. In July, Warroad started selling alcohol with the opening of the Sandbar. The opportunity has helped drive up gaming revenue, hotel occupancy, and the addition to hosting small events. In November, we started to upgrade the cabling at the Thief River Falls property. This project should be completed the end of the first quarter 2020. We also upgraded credit card station chip readers at all sites. Other capital improvements and purchases included computer upgrades and vehicles. We'll continue to work on the staff development and training to further enhance the job skills of our employees. In 2020, I want to report that our January numbers actually were like twice what we saw last January. So I think our gaming we look forward to continued success as we focus more on the business development side of that. And as always, any tribal members, if you have any questions or want to further discuss financials, my office is open. Just make an appointment or stop by. I will usually have time to discuss, or we can set up an appointment. Now, the theme I wanted to touch on, the sovereignty, I think it's very appropriate because as tribal leaders, they say that, without our identity, and that's very key, without our culture and language, we wouldn't exist. And this is actually something that the federal government has, given to the tribes. So remember, culture and language and the lands are very important to us. I also want to share something. I've been watching a lot of what's going on in Indian country. And more recently, there's some happenings north of the medicine line up in Canada. And an elder actually said something that touched me, and I want to share it with you. He said that he feels that the government's always trying to justify their existence on our ceded lands. And I truly kind of can relate to that because as leaders, we're constantly working with other forms of government and agencies to protect what we have. By treaties, we're supposed to have the right to access to healthcare, education, and housing. And those are just resources that we never have enough of to adequately serve our people. And also, as Secretary Strong mentioned, the increased enrollment, we really don't have a clear picture on what that means, but I too saw the emotions of that day, the young people, people that are already part of our community, belonging to the Red Lake Nation. So to me, I think that, we need to work together to include everybody, because identity is key to keeping ourselves as a sovereign nation. I also want to mention too, one of my professors, Tad Johnson, he always said that sovereignty is like a muscle. If you don't use it, you lose it. Chimigwich, Bizandaweg, meet you.
Stole my whole folder. All right. Now, we couldn't cut the mic on them because, obvious, right? This truly would have been my last state of the band if we cut the mic. But moving on to the agenda, we would like to next call up our Executive Director, Mr. Hunter Bolt.
Good morning. Welcome to the 2020 Red Lake Nation State of the Band Address. I am Hunter Bolt, and I am the Executive Director for the Red Lake Nation. Today, I'm going to be presenting some updates provided by me by Red Lake Builders, Earthworks Technology, the Red Lake Housing Authority, Red Lake Inc., and Red Lake Fisheries, and hopefully do it under 5 minutes. Red Lake Builders recently completed their 43rd year in the construction industry, and Earthworks Technology is in their 17th year of construction contracting. They provide service in highway and building construction industry for the Red Lake Nation, Army Corps of Engineers, and several other government entities. Gordy Jalen, the president, reports that the following projects are going to be contracted or will be contracted in the future are the Seven Clans Casino expansion in Warroad, the widening of Highway 1 in Red Lake, the Red Lake Elementary School addition, utility expansion east of Red Lake, the completion of Clearwater County Highway 2, Beltrami County Scenic Highway, and renovations at the Red Lake Juvenile Facility. Jane Barrett, Executive Director of Red Lake Housing Authority, reports that in Beltrami County, off the reservation, 15 families have received rental assistance and security deposits. 5 units at Conifer Estates and 5 units at Park Place were subsidized with ongoing rental assistance. And 1 family received a down payment and closing cost assistance. Under the Indian Health Service contract, the Red Lake Housing Authority was able to install 2 wells, 5 community water connections, 3 community sewer connections, 11 mound systems, and 1 drain field. They've also replaced roofs on 16 housing units, 10 privately owned elder units, and additionally, 58 housing units and 5 privately owned elderly units received new furnaces last year. The Red Lake Housing Finance Corporation has entered into 1 new home loan, 8 loans for rehabilitation, 3 loans for the sale of foreclosed units, and transferred 8 units through contract for deed. Finally, and most exciting, the Housing Authority has been awarded a HUD competitive grant in the amount of $2.25 million, which, with an additional match of $750,000 from the Housing Authority for a total project cost of $3 million. And these funds will be used to construct 16 new homes in the Heart Lake development beginning this spring. Donovan Sather, the CEO of Red Lake Inc., reports that their main focus this year is creating transparency within our community. They are proud to announce all of the hard work that went into the new trading post and subway by previous management and it has paid off, bringing us a beautiful new store to our community. A year ago, their board of directors created strategic priorities that will be implemented by Red Lake Inc. and their subsidiaries. Their strategic priorities are develop a world-class workforce, increase revenue to $50 million, increase profitability to $2 million, and improve community engagement. Their marketing strategy for the nation includes bi-monthly Red Lake newspaper, building a social media platform to inform community about business activities. Each company will work to initiate youth engagement to the Red Lake High School students, work to build and grow outreach to programs, host an annual community engagement event at the fireworks demonstration, and establish potential scholarship opportunities through Red Lake High School, Red Lake Nation College, and Bemidji State University. Lastly, Jake Robertson provided a report on the Red Lake fisheries. Red Lake Nation Fishery employs over 70 community members and over 400 anglers each year, making it one of the largest employers of the reservation. This past year, the fishery has experienced some trying times, and with the incredible hard work of anglers, fishery employees, community members, tribal leadership, and the Fishery Board of Advisors, the fishery is beginning to see improvements both financially and in daily business. There's a long, hard road ahead to return the Red Lake Nation fishery to a place of stability and health, but that path doesn't seem as long as dark as it did 6 months ago. These accomplishments have been made by reaffirming and recapturing key partnerships with large distributors, promoting the Red Lake Walleye brand, improving communications with customers, and implementing efficiencies and improvements within the plant. The fishery would like to extend a heartfelt thank you to fishermen and women who have fought through the bad weather, tough ice conditions, and continued to harvest fish through the ice. Support from our communities and anglers is crucial to ongoing success. I would like to thank Gordy Jalen, Jane Barrett, Donovan Sather, and Jake Robinson for preparing the reports I've delivered to you today. And thank you to all those in attendance, the Red Lake Band members for your continued input, and all tribal employees whose diligent work allows the Red Lake Nation to prosper. Miigwech.
All right, next on our list, the Director of Oshkimaji Tada, Mr. Jerry Loud. Now this is one we have to watch on time.
Good morning or good afternoon. My name is Jerry Loud. I'm the Executive Director for Oshkimaji Tada, and I'm honored to represent Oshkimaji Tada for the Red Lake Nation. And to get my information through in 5 minutes, I'm going to have to go Sherry Goodwin speed. Well, first of all, I was just informed about a couple weeks ago that we had reached 103 full-time employees, which is amazing. We have about 30 part-timers and 15 contract workers, which is amazing. We are doing so many things at Oshkimaji Tada, but first of all, I just would like the Oshkimaji Tada staff to stand up and be recognized. I don't think that was 103. But anyway, so Oshkimaji Tada has so many programs under it, so I'm going to just try to rush through, and there's about 14 to 16 different programs. TANF is one of the largest. Is Annie Johnson here? Is she here? So I'd like the TANF staff first just to stand up while I just kind of give a quick brief. So we became the 70th tribal TANF program in the United States on October of 2014. And at that time, we were serving 550 people. Today, we are serving 813 families, and that's throughout the whole Beltrami County, which is pretty amazing. And so I'd just like to recognize some of the leaders. So we have Tracy Kingbird. I know she's back there. Come on, stand up, Tracy. And so Tracy, one of the things that we are doing, and which is amazing, is we're pushing the envelope. We are expanding our services in the Bemidji area, but also the services. So we're taking over the adult services, and one of the things that we've been pushing for is healthcare, and Tracy Kingbird will be leading our healthcare division, which is pretty amazing. And hopefully we can get that launched by January of 2021. So, and then we also are doing kind of amazing thing with our software system. Is there anybody in the Bemidji office here? Okay, where's, Sarah's not here? Annie's not here? So in our Bemidji office, they are providing SNAP services. We're doing adult services. And how many people have been to the Bemidji office? You guys know where it's at? It's right there on 4th Street. 4th, 522 or 502? 520, I was close. I was getting the numbers there. But 5th Street. So if you're in the Bemidji area during the day, come on down and visit the Bemidji office. You guys can sit down. Thank you. So that's one of our biggest programs. We do SNAP, Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. And I'm going to have to go through child care. Do we have any of the child care staff here? So if you see where we are building a new child care center, and that is going to be, the capacity of that is going to be 50 children. And hopefully we'll have that this fall. Our 4-7, is there Robert Netto? Is he available? So our 477 program we just took on the medical supportive services for the Red Lake Nation, and they've done an amazing job, and you can just ask Barb and Lila about that. And so they're doing that. And also scholarships with the Red Lake Nation College. We're providing generally mostly all scholarships for the Red Lake Nation. But then we just had a graduate from Hawaii. So that's, it's actually a little over 200 scholarships per semester that we're providing. Emilio, can you stand up? So we have, Emilio is the lead over in our child support. So we've taken that over for about 3 years now. Our family drug court, we have a career development is Wendy Johnson and Cassandra. There's Wendy. So we have a driver's license. We do driver's license. ABE, is the ABE staff here? Dave. So, so our ABE program, which is GED, and this is the first time ever that we have 2 licensed teachers running the program, which is pretty amazing. Fortunately, my last name's Loud, so I really don't even need a mic. But anyway, so overall, out of the 14 programs that we're serving, we are serving over 4,500 Red Lake citizens in everything that we do. And I'm going to close with one of the last things that it was really a program that Chairman Siki, when he first came in, he told me to come to his office, and he asked me if I could get the Red Lake Nation, the radio station again. And I'm going to tell you today, we took a bump last year, but by end of year, we're going to have some RF in the air, 105.3 WRLN. You'll be hearing that, Red Lake Nation Radio. Miigwech.
All right, coming up next, following Jerry. He said he was going to use her speed, so it's ironic that she's coming up next. Sherry Goodwin, the Director of Family and Children's Services.
Bonjour, everybody. Wabashki Anaquad, Indigenous Cause, Misquagamigsagayagan, and Magizi and Dondam. So good afternoon. My name is Sherry Goodwin. We're on a new kick here. We're going to have a new name. I oversee Obamindwa. Gidan Awame Ganada Nug. Where's my staff? I know I kind of tore it up. But formerly known as Family and Children's Services. I wanted to give a shout out to the Tribal Council for all the support they give us at Obemindwa, and also the live stream, Jordan Perpich. The elders are watching us, so hello elders at Jordan Perpich. Obemindwa is in the process of transforming our approaches and service delivery system to be rooted in Anishinaabe language, culture, traditions, beliefs, and values. Obemindwa's main focus is to focus on intergenerational family wellness, which includes physical, emotional, spiritual, mental, and cultural wellness. Our intergenerational approach addresses health and wellness for each family member that is inclusive to each hill of life, infancy, adolescence, adulthood, and elderhood. Obemindwa's methodology is person-centered, trauma, and resiliency focused, and is grounded in Anishinaabe worldview and the 7 grandfather teachings and culture of humility. Whoops. Some changes in terminology for our program: clients to our relatives, staff to community service providers, foster parents to relative care community service providers, investigation to response, child protection case management to reunification services. Obemindwa's mission is to uplift and empower families of Red Lake Nation by supporting and promoting Minobemidji and Anishinaabe values. Culture services. We offer a sweat lodge weekly at the Red Lake Cliffs. We've been offering this since 2015. Everyone is invited to attend. We also have medicine bundles on site for our relatives we serve. Special requests can also be requested for instance, naming and pipe ceremonies. And the big news is the Red Lake Nation American Indian Child Welfare Initiative. We, Red Lake Nation, is changing the face of child welfare by redoing our policy and procedures and tribal code to better fit the needs of our community. Our goal is to go live 1/1/2021. What this means in a nutshell is we've been authorized by the state of Minnesota to be American Indian Child Welfare Initiative tribe, to perform all aspects of required tribal, state, and federal laws, basically quasi-sovereign. I know Treasurer Johnson talked a lot about sovereignty today. Is the politically correct terminology. I'd like to quote Kay Mack, I know she's out there, Beltrami County Administrator. Red Lake Nation American and Child Welfare Initiative is the best thing that ever happened to Beltrami County. Which, with that said, we, Obemindwa, are gearing up to perform all required functions. We have lots of work to do. One of our biggest partners now, this is the Red Lake Nation courts. As child welfare is a Red Lake Nation civil matter, the initiative will allow us to decrease placements of children and expand supportive services needed by our families here on the homeland. One of the barriers we have is lack of space to provide these much needed services. We are knocking on the door, knock, 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 just kidding you guys, of our state legislator to seek Red Lake Nation funding for an intergenerational family center. Proposed site will be the old Red Lake Nation trading post. Indian child welfare. Advocates represent Red Lake Nation relatives in ICWA court proceedings, state and out of state. We are the first tribe in Minnesota to have access to Minnesota government access, which keeps us abreast on current court actions and county reports on our relatives. Red Lake Nation recently passed a resolution that prohibits counties from cutting our relatives' hair for purpose of drug testing. Behavioral health. Our mental health staff are trained to serve a broad spectrum of behavioral health needs. Staff includes clinical social workers, professional counselors, clinical trainees, and mental health practitioners. Mental health clinicians provide a full range of services for families and individuals of all ages. Services are provided in an office setting, in the home, in the school, or community setting. The foundation of our program is based on our cultural teachings and understanding of health and wellness through our language, teachings, and cultural practices. We are currently focused on working with our children here in our Red Lake School District. Elder services and adult services. The welfare of our elders has been our tribal and traditional values in which we pride ourselves. We honor and show respect for our elders for their teachings and values. Waivered services, long-term care support services, which includes access to services that improve the quality of life of our elders. All of the previously mentioned services require an assessment by one of our trained staff members. Red Lake Nation is the lead agency for our relatives and can have the door opened on these entitlement services. Please see our booth for more information. Adult Protection Public Health. Our program is, I'm really rushing. Our program is focused on improving the overall health of the Red Lake Nation. Issues including substance use, disease, and injury prevention are addressed through educational classes, safety planning, and exercise groups. Our staff will meet individually with relatives or in groups to promote health education. Spring Summer 2020 Children's Healing Center will once and for all be open to provide non-secure residential services that focus on healing rather than criminal institutionalization. Providing culture assessments and access to culture services, education, events, and trauma-informed care will result in recidivism reductions. Finally, I'm honored and proud to announce that last year we closed 86 cases and returned 182 children to their families by actively engaging with our relatives. It's a big deal. And utilizing our TWAHI funds to provide much-needed basic necessities. Home for our children is with their parents. No matter what the circumstances are, our babies love their parents unconditionally. As Chairman Siki always tells me, bring our kids home. In honor of our children, we placed 182 Gerber flowers throughout the event center. Please feel free to take a flower home. To remember, it takes a village to raise a child. The disclaimer is you can't take the vases, but you can take the flowers. It also takes a team to actively engage with our relatives to keep our children home. Would our Ombimendwa team please raise their left hand up and be recognized? Miigwech, they're back there with all their little lights.
I think we're gonna have to redo this to 5-ish minutes. All right, coming up next, we have the Director of Chemical Health, Mr. Tom Barrett.
All right, let's slow this down a little bit here. All right, my name is Tom Barrett. I'm the Executive Director for Red Lake Chemical Health Program. I'd also like to recognize Reina Gonzalez Rivera Lusher. She's the Project Director, and Selena Beasley is the Administrative Assistant for Red Lake Chemical Health. And before I go any further, I'd also like to acknowledge the directors that came before us that started these programs that are so crucial here to our nation. Giles Hart, Adam Lusher, and Richard Siki. Unfortunately, none of those gentlemen are here with us today in this world, but I'm sure they're all looking down on us from the spirit world, encouraging the work we do here. The Chemical Health Program has 10 different programs utilizing almost everything. We have everything but a detox facility here in Red Lake. Some of the changes going on at the state of Minnesota may allow us to do some withdrawal management now with the opiate epidemic that is going on, not only here in Indian country, but throughout the whole nation. This past year, at Chemical Health, we did 974 chemical health assessments. About half of those are court-ordered, the other half people coming in on their own, seeking treatment for their addictions. The Indian and Free Drug Program is funded through a grant from SAMHSA. They deal mostly with young people, juveniles, assessments, getting them into different treatment facilities as needed. We have a treatment center, halfway house, located in Redby. Treatment centers, high intensity. Our halfway house, of course, is low intensity. Once you completed treatment, you go into the halfway house, encouraging you to go out and get a job, your schooling, and things of that nature. The treatment center is funded solely by third-party billing, so they stand alone. They don't have no grant assistance. The Halfway also has a grant through IHS that helps them with funding for food, staffing, and utilities and such. The alcohol rehab is a grant through DHS here at the state of Minnesota, and that's prevention. We will be going into the school starting March 5th, I believe, early March. They'll be going to school, do some prevention education at the elementary level. We have 3 different outpatient programs. We have a satellite office up in Panema that provides outpatient treatment programming. We also have one in Red Lake, and we have the pregnant women and families that are dedicated to our women here and families. So, and we also have a group home. It's a treatment center basically for young people, and that's funded through IHS and also third-party billing. That's how they get their money. We have a program called Mother Sacred Gift. It's a new program that we had started. It was an 18-month grant, so it's not the program itself, like most grant programs, it's not gonna be around long, but it is having an impact for the short period of time that we have had it. Treasurer Johnson had mentioned our MARS program, and that program has really helped a lot of people here in Red Lake. We've seen a lot of people get off the opiates, whether it's heroin or the pain medication, and they've got their children back, they've got jobs, they're getting their driver's license. In fact, I think we have like 5 of those people that were in the program are now employees at Red Lake Chemical Health. So we see that program working, and there again, when it was always controversial, what do you do with it? You're just replacing one with another, but that program has helped so many people, it's hard to even consider it controversial, I guess. From what I've seen working, that program is well worth the money that's invested. Anytime you can save a person's life, money doesn't matter. And as far as chemical dependency goes, I've listened to some of the other directors and the tribal council. Everyone knows chemical dependency affects everyone, but so does sobriety. The ripple effect of wellness here in our community is great. It's growing. We have our sober squad now, and we have 3 different self-help groups going on at our program, Mondays, Tuesday, and Wednesday. It's a AA, NA, and a Red Road meeting. So if anyone wants to attend, they're open to everyone. Get up there and just sit and listen. If you don't feel like talking or you don't feel comfortable talking, just go hang out with them. Sober Squad motto is they're no longer anonymous. You see them on Facebook, they're proud, they're loud, and they're really proud of their recovery like most people in chemical health are and the community. But with that, that's about all I got. I wanted to make it short and sweet. Sherry did a real hell of a job here, but miigotch.
I just let everybody know too that if they don't get through their speeches or you want to read their speech, they will have all the presentations available out front from every director that's coming up. So coming up next here from the Self-Governance Department, Mr. Dave Connor.
I wanted to thank everyone in the room today for this privilege to speak. They don't let me out much. I'm Dave Connor. I and my colleagues, Carrie Spears, Connie Badu, and Carmen Isham work in the Self-Governance Office. Self-governance operates like a block grant where funds that the federal government would operate to meet its treaty obligations, instead they hand it over to the tribes and let the tribes run the government service programs because tribes know best how to manage services locally. Red Lake began self-governance 23 years ago. Of the 573 federally recognized tribes, 40% operate BIA programs under self-governance authority. Programs at Red Lake include Family and Children's Services, Scholarships and Adult Education, Natural Resources, Public Safety, Courts, Road Maintenance, Tribal Realty, Tribal Credit, and the Fire Department. BIA funding has long been insufficient to operate our programs, especially after Congress enacts across-the-board funding rescissions most years, as well as sequestration cuts imposed several years ago. But self-governance gives us the flexibility to direct more funding to higher priority programs such as public safety, fire protection, and road maintenance. Despite BIA funding deficiencies, each of the last year, President Trump has requested dramatic and frankly reckless funding cuts for BIA and tribes. For 2021, he just proposed a massive $435 million, 14% cut over the 2020 level. Programs that Trump cuts the most are those that serve children and families and educate our youth. Some examples of programs that Trump wants to cut next year include Human Services to be cut by $72 million, Natural Resources cut by $43 million, Real Estate Services cut by $15 million, Public Safety and Justice Programs cut by $15 million, Public Safety Construction cut by $69 million, the Indian Guaranteed Loan Business Account zeroed out, Indian Education cut by $19 million, Elementary and Secondary Education cut by $7 million, Post-secondary education cut by $50 million. Tribal school construction cut by $179 million. Trump has also proposed completely eliminating many long-standing tribal programs, including the housing program, which serves only the neediest people, including elders and veterans. The Tribal Climate Change Adaptation Program, Indian Rights Protection, Litigation Support, Public Safety Construction, Indian Guaranteed Loans, Tribal Education Departments, Tribal Colleges and University Supplements, Scholarships and Adult Education, Special Higher Education Scholarships, Science Postgraduate Scholarships, Replacement School Construction, and you get the message. I want to highlight one important program. The President's 2021 budget cuts welfare assistance by $59 million, a 79% reduction. Welfare assistance is a critical safety net for the neediest children and families and provides funds for several programs, including foster care, general assistance, burial assistance, and emergency assistance. But this program is chronically underfunded. Tribes usually receive 30 to 40% less than actual expenditures documented in their required reporting. Assistant Secretary Tara Sweeney told tribal leaders that all of the requested funds would go just to foster care, leaving nothing for the other categories. But the requested amount of funding would not come even close to covering existing foster care expenditures. Without question, the President's proposed 80% cut to welfare assistance would cripple tribal foster care programs nationwide and eliminate all other critically needed welfare assistance categories. It would directly reverse the great success that Sherry and her programs are demonstrating. Thankfully, Congress rejected all of Trump's prior cuts to Indian Affairs, and we're hopeful they will continue to reject his dangerous proposals. We thank our friends in Congress, including Senator Tina Smith, who sits on the Senate Indian Affairs Committee, and House Interior Appropriations Chair Betty McCollum from Minnesota for their support. One thing that's helped us is that the Senate Indian Affairs Committee and the House Interior Appropriations and Senate Interior Appropriations Committees, they operate on a true bipartisan basis. We also appreciate support from Senator Amy Klobuchar and Representative Colin Peterson. Another ending thought here. I want to mention that Red Lake is very active in advocating for funding increases for Indian programs for all tribes, not just Red Lake. And the Red Lake Tribal Council supports these efforts. Chairman Siki is the longest-serving representative on the Tribal Interior Budget Council with nearly 20 years of service. Yes. The Tribal Interior Budget Council is the lead consultative body on Indian affairs funding in the country. Also, Treasurer Johnson represents Midwest tribes on the Self-Governance Advisory Council, which is the lead consultative body for self-governance tribes. And several Red Lake staff, including Hunter Bolt, Carrie Spears, and myself, also sit on various technical committees of the Tribal Interior Budget Council and Self-Governance Advisory Council. Red Lake is recognized as the national leader on Indian affairs budget issues, and we regularly provide budget updates and knowledge that assist tribes and Indian affairs leadership alike. And this expertise has helped Red Lake maintain strong budgets even during lean times. Thank you.
Oh yeah, he was a little jumpy on that one, huh? Jumped right in front of Al, that guy. So I guess you don't have to present now, or? No. No? All right, coming up next, we have our director of the Red Lake DNR, Mr. Al Pemberton.
Awning, everybody. My name is Alan Pemberton. I'm also the Red Bay District Representative, and I'd just like to let everybody know that we lost a very good lady in Red Bay, Lucille Oganash. There's a hole in my heart after she left, and very good woman, been a good friend of mine for many years. I told Daryl that I was gonna say a couple things about him, but he's got the last word, so I better keep my mouth shut. But we'll just do a few highlights on the Red Lake DNR program. The walleye populations, hold on a second. The walleye population's been stabilized. They do a study every year in both upper and lower Red Lake, and they're stabilized. The walleye population is at 7.5 million lake-wide for 2020, and the population's been very high for the past 10 years because of two strong year classes, which were produced in 2009 and 2011. These classes now are getting pretty old, but there's a lot of other fish coming behind them. So the lake is really, it's healthier than it's ever been, even years ago, into the 1970s. Then some of the other stuff that's going on, we're still stocking the sturgeon into the lake. We stocked about 100,000 sturgeon in Red Lake right now. Some of the ones they've caught, for some of the people that don't know that the sturgeon, it takes 20 years for them to have babies. So they're a long life for them. Some of the ones we caught, the first ones we caught that we've caught and released, they're 48 inches now and like 25 pounds. So it's really a good, it's been a good program, and we actually, the outlet, we'll be opening that so the fish can come right back into the lake again. And that's been kind of a sore part with the tribe, that once the fish went down the river, they weren't coming back. So, and then some of the smaller lakes, we continue stocking fish throughout there. We stocked 5,000 brook trout, 5,000 rainbow trout, 10,000 walleye fingerlings in the small lakes. And in Lower Red Lake, like I said, we had about 10,000 sturgeon into the Lower Red Lake this past year. And some of the other stuff that we knew was coming, you know, I mean, almost all the lakes in Minnesota are getting it now, and we really told the state that we knew that zebra mussels weren't going to come from this side of the lake. They came from the Upper Red Lake. And we're really right now just kind of sitting back, and we're going to have to see what happens. We're monitoring it. You know, and one of the things that people don't really know, you know, I mean, for the Red Lake DNR, we test all the waters on Red Lake, upper and lower. The state DNR doesn't do any of that. The Red Lake Band does that. You know, we're proud of that lake, and we want to take care of it. And that's, you know, that's our lifeblood. And one of the things is we're going to sit back and see what happens, but we're also, our people are on committees to try to have, before anything else comes into the lake. You know, there's other invasive species out there that are probably just as bad as the one that's there. But right now, you know, it's one of the things that'll probably help us. The fish that we have in the lake, like the whitefish and then the sturgeon that we put in, and sheephead. They eat the zebra mussels. Right now, they're only, the zebra mussels that are in the lake are only just really minute. They're real small. They call them villagers. So we haven't found anything that's, you know, they look like a clam kind of, and we haven't found anything like that in the lake. So that's a good sign. Hopefully nothing's going to happen. So we're going to have to sit back and just try to hope our other fish that are in the lake will take care of that. And then some of the other projects we had was we did the Red Bee Mud River crossing, where we redid the dam. Now the fish can come up there and spawn again. The dam was taken out, and the other one we did was another Mud Creek one down the river, about from Red Bee. It would be about 6 or 7 miles south. There was a crossing there we kept having trouble with washing out, and we got the funding to fix that, and that was done now. And then we also got funding to do the landing by the school in Panema for a new fish boat landing. And then the wildlife, we've been doing a lot of work with golden warblers. On the west, you can see some of the stuff going on out west. And also what we're finding out, it's kind of like a roller chopper, and it chops down the willows and the other trees that are really older, the shrubs. And it's helping the golden warblers, but it's almost, it's helping the deer and the rabbits, and now we're actually starting to see a few more moose actually. So, which is really, you know, really good, man. It's been a while since I'd seen moose. So, then through the environmental program, I better not pass this up. We've been planting some of the lakes with wild rice, and they are taking the fourth lake. There's a fourth lake, fifth lake, all those ones. We've been planting rice in them, and they're coming back pretty good. The problem is that it's hard for us to keep the water levels where they're supposed to be, and there's but the rice in there is really doing good. And then through the environmental program, the EPA program, the clean air. They had a grant for the Volkswagen. It's called a Volkswagen settlement. And we replaced 2 diesel trucks. And it was the sanitation program got a honey wagon, you call them, or to clean out the septics. And I think that's a pretty good thing. And then the other thing is the forestry program. We've been, the timber sales and stuff, we had, last year we cut 28,700 cords, representing $552,690,000 in revenue to the Red Lake Band. 70% of that was aspen. The other one was red pine and jack pine. And smaller amounts of birch and balsam, spruce and tamarack. And most of that was harvested from June to November. And local markets for aspen have been pretty strong. In the forest development, last year we had 10 contractors, members planting trees. They planted 240 acres. This required 215,000 trees that were planted last year. And for the upcoming season, we're looking at planting 336,000 trees. So it's a real good program. The greenhouse is really doing good. We have a good staff there. And then to get into the fire program, for a lot of people that maybe don't know, the fire program has really grown within the last 10 years. We have our new fire cache, the new hell attack program, and it's really crazy that how big we've grown. And our firefighters go throughout the whole United States. And we have a real good hell attack program now, and they're getting called out all over too. And there's a lot of young guys taking advantage of that, and they're traveling all over the United States. And some of the stuff people that might have seen on a Clearbrick Road, and then there's some on the Highway 1 now, where just before you turn to Panema, to the Panema Road, you see some of the windrows we had a real bad storm 2 summers ago with what they said was straight line winds. And we're gonna see more of that with global warming. And what really hurt me is that a lot of the trees that were taken down were like 10 to 20-year-old trees, which usually that you wouldn't think that would happen to them, but you think they'd be stronger, but that wind was so bad that it just devastated them. And now we're starting to see we're trying to clean up some of that. Because if you don't do that, if you don't shear them down like that, we do it in the winter. Most of it was winter show areas. We had to go in there in the winter time. And we replanted a lot of it, but it's coming back on its own too, the aspen. And if we wouldn't have done that, nothing would have come back there. And the stuff on east of Redby, that stuff blew down, and there's a lot of balsam and aspen. We did that, and then we'll be burning the piles to get rid of that part. And they're actually doing some more. Actually, they're still doing it as we speak. But the stuff on the Clearbrick Road, there was more there, but with the winter the way it's been, it just, they can't get into those winter areas. We got so much snow right away that the ground didn't freeze. So we just couldn't access those areas. And I was going to tell a joke on Daryl, but I'll tell I just wanted to say, you know, I kind of tell this, I remember this story, my grandmother told about her dad. Her dad was Peter Graves. And it always stuck in my mind, you know, about what he said. He said, has a Red Lake member that's close to my heart. And my grandma told me that her dad told her that, he said, why would you want to live anywhere else when you're living in paradise? So, thanks.
All right, the guys that are out with they're passing out the food now, so if you got one of them trays, can you come up and take care of the drum group too, guys, when you get it, when you can there? All right, moving down the line here, our next presenter, 5 minutes. The Interim Director of Public Safety, Mr. Jonathan Richards.
Bonjour. My name is Jonathan Richards. I'm the new interim director of the Red Lake Department of Public Safety. Our current mission is to provide quality law enforcement services to the residents of the Red Lake Indian Reservation by promoting a safe environment through police, tribal government, and community interaction that identifies and resolves community problems by employing innovative, proactive problem-solving strategies based upon the community policing philosophy. I was appointed to this new job title in January of last month. My former position was the lead criminal investigator, and my primary focus was general crimes investigations by assisting with drug investigations, search warrants on the Red Lake Indian Reservation. Our most recent community policing event occurred on January 1st, 2020 at the Red Lake Boys and Girls Club. The Red Lake law enforcement staff assisted the community members that wanted to participate on how to operate the Sydney Impaired Driving Go-Kart. On a course developed by law enforcement staff, we also assisted with snow bear rides. Law enforcement officers participated in the safety camp of May of 2019. Law enforcement provided the rollover simulator, impaired goggles demonstration, and canine demonstrations. Law enforcement officers also participated in the Red Bee Spling Fling and Cookout in June of 2019, and Cops and Bobbers, also known as the Take a Kid Fishing, of August of 2019. Law enforcement officers did a presentation in Panema Elementary School on July of 2019. The areas that were discussed were seatbelt safety, bike safety, road safety, and community members were given the knowledge of the dangers of consuming alcohol and narcotic use while operating a motor vehicle. The Red Lake Department of Public Safety has a total of 20 police officers, including 4 sergeants, 6 employees on our administration staff. There's 5 conservation officers, 5 criminal investigators, 6 dispatchers, 5 employees of crime victim services, and 3 employees for the SOR. Statistics of the year of 2019, there was 2 homicides, 1 manslaughter, 63 aggravated assaults, 55 burglaries, 83 auto thefts, 22 arsons, 234 larcenies, 6 robberies, 2 rapes, and 215 domestic violence incidents. Drug statistics for 2019, there has been a total of 314 adult arrests, 142 female arrests, and 164 male arrests. There has been a total of 8 juvenile arrestees, 2 female and 6 male. There has been a total of 2,566.032 grams of total drugs seized by the Red Lake Police Department. The estimated street value was $333,584.16. Drug currency seized was 63,506.82. The Red Lake Department of Public Safety will continue doing investigations on illegal drugs and general crimes. The Uniform and Traffic Safety Divisions will continue to respond to calls for service the best way possible and enforcing traffic law to help make the highways safer. Radio communication officers will continue to receive, screen, prioritize emergency 911 and non-emergency telephone calls for service from the public requiring law enforcement, emergency medical service, or department attention, and relay to officers or command personnel as appropriate. The Red Lake Conservation Division will continue performing investigative work such as investigating fishing game and environmental violations. I'll turn the mic over to Investigator Matt Smith to speak on the behalf of the Victim Services. Miigwech.
Hello, I'm Matthew Smith. I'm an investigator for the Red Lake Police Department. Thank you everyone for being here. I tried really hard to get out of this. I tried everything. My dog ate my homework, my car broke down, I was sick, none of that worked. However, the Red Lake Department of Public Safety, in an ongoing effort to provide support and services to victims and secondary victims of crime, is developing and expanding its victim services program. The Red Lake Nation was awarded the Office for Victim of Crimes 2018 and 2019 Tribal Set-Aside, as well as the 2019 Law Enforcement Victim Specialist Grants to expand victim services within the Department of Public Safety in Equay-Wagamik. The program currently staffs a victim liaison officer, a crime victim specialist advocate, a criminal domestic violence sexual assault specialist advocate, a general crimes advocate assigned from the Equay-Wagamik, a crime victim services coordinator, and a general crimes investigator. As crime has increased in the last few years due to the opioid epidemic, so has the number of victims of crime. The program is structured and specialized in taking a victim-centered approach to those directly impacted by crime, by providing support and services with participating service providers while maintaining a positive connection to law enforcement and advocacy services. The Red Lake Department of Public Safety and Equay-Wagamik are working together, making it their mission to ensure victims and secondary victims of crime will have access to much-needed services in an effective and timely manner. The Equay-Wagamik, the Department of Public Safety's Crime Victim Services Program works closely with Equay-Wagamik on streamlining grant reporting. That has been a pretty big hurdle that we've overcome. Program expansion and development, along with providing more funding for emergency assistance for victims of crime. The expanded Crime Victim Services Program has provided service for 24 victims of crime since January of 2020. Victim services include, but are not limited to, advocacy and accompaniment, court process assistance, emergency food, emergency shelter, multi-agency referral, safety planning, cultural services, and criminal complaint process assistance. The Red Lake Department of Public Safety Victim Services Program is currently housed in the basement of the old BIA agency building. Thank you.
All right. I did mention 5 minutes, right? Couple times? Because now if we keep going on this, at this rate, this admin's not going to mean nothing this afternoon. Oh, is there going to be admin this? Oh, I'll leave that up to you. Coming up next, we have the prosecutor at the Red Lake Nation Court, Mr. Ogumaneto. Never thought I'd see the day I'd call you Mr. I used to work with him, so.
My name is Ogumaneto. I'm a prosecutor at the Tribal Court. We've had a pretty busy year this year at the Tribal Court. As many of you know, we're one of a very few number of tribes that has criminal jurisdiction on the reservation as a non-public Law 280 tribe. So we also have, jurisdiction over criminal court, juvenile delinquency, civil court, including child protection. So in the year 2019, 1,897 new cases were generated, which does include criminal court, juvenile delinquency, including truancy, civil court, which also includes the child protection cases. Our biggest bit of business comes in the adult criminal court area, where 1,290 criminal cases were filed in the year 2019, which was pretty consistent from the previous year. The tribal court has about 20 staff to take care of that huge caseload, especially considering we're a very small jurisdiction. The tribal court does have 2 alternative court programs, including Family Drug and Wellness Court. That court is designed to assist those who are struggling with substances and assist them with, getting clean along with their families. We also have a Juvenile Healing to Wellness Court, which is also an alternative court, which kind of mirrors the Adult Healing to Wellness Court. So we have plenty of partners that we work with as well. I'd like to thank all of these people or all of these programs for their ongoing assistance and support, including Red Lake Family and Children Services, Red Lake Chemical Health, the Red Lake School District, Oshki Majitata, Red Lake Detention, Red Lake Police Department, and I'm sure I missed a few, but we really appreciate all that those programs do for the tribe. Going forward, the tribe what we'd like to do is analyze some of the data that's been collected and see what the correlation is to recidivism, and we'd like to reduce the recidivism. A couple of things that we're going to be doing going forward. We've applied for several grants, including a grant to expand our jurisdiction, which would allow us to prosecute non-Native American offenders of domestic violence. We've also hired a special assistant United States attorney that will be with our tribe for the next few years that hopefully can help us push some of the violent crimes that occur on the reservation as a result of the drug and opioid epidemic. Another grant that we've applied for that we're really hoping to implement and kind of change the game on the way we've been doing things is it's a program called Law Enforcement Assisted Diversion. Hunter Bolt, Captain Lyons, Tom Barrett from Chemical Health have all been helping out with that. It's a diversionary program to keep people out of the system who are addicts of substances and help get them clean. And that's really all I have. Thank you.
All right, moving on to the program. Now we have the director of the Boys and Girls Club, Mr. Tom Barrett, Jr.
How buju Anishinabeg, Anamikiani Quad Indigenous Cause, Nemando Dim, Misquagamiwi Zagi Gun and Dunjaba. What's up, Red Lake Nation? My name is Thomas. I'm from the Little Rock District, and I am truly honored to be the executive director of the Red Lake Nation Boys and Girls Club. Working alongside my peers and for the youth has always been a passion of mine, so I feel like I'm in the right spot. At the Red Lake Nation Boys and Girls Club, beyond the tribal match funds that we receive, we have what is known as the 21st Century Grant, which is over 60% of our funding. When I took over in July as the new executive director, we were in jeopardy of losing these funds, so we had a real uphill battle. And working due diligently with our grant reps, tribal accountant Jennifer May, who has done great work for us, Minnesota Department of Education, Stephanie Autumn, my administrative assistant Lisa Brunn, Red Lake Unit Program Director Devon Anderson, Sherry Clark, our Center and Data Coordinator, and Eric Billiet of MDE. We have we're out of the woods and we have secured our funding, and we're looking very good to receive another 3 years of 21st Century Grant funding. So we will keep our dollars so we can continue to serve our kids. Part of the rebuilding process was getting fully staffed, kickstarting programs, creating new initiatives, and pretty much rebranding the Red Lake Nation Boys and Girls Club. And at the Boys and Girls Club, we like to think of ourselves as champions of the Ojibwe culture. And some of the Ojibwe culture programming that we offer at both units in Red Lake and Panema are as followed. Culture Tuesdays, Ojibwe language tables hosted by Marcus Tyler and Vicky Feinday. Big drum singing lessons, lacrosse, a teen girls cultural program via of the OJJDP grant, which is headed by Jacqueline Defoe. The Good Path of Life program, moccasin games, Ojibwe arts and crafts, ribbon skirt making, beading, and other modern day practices. Our club hours consist of Monday through Friday, with the exception of Sundays when we have our Little League basketball games. Mondays and Fridays are 3 to 6, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 3 to 8 o'clock, 6 to 8 o'clock being our teen nights. Now, we also run what would be considered the standard Red Lake Boys and Girls Club of America programming, which includes the Healthy Habits, Smart Girls, Smart Kids, Junior MBA, Power Hour, and we recently received a $10,000 grant to implement the program Diplomas to Degrees, which I will be heading, which is an initiative to get our upperclassmen ready for post-secondary education. Now, we wanted to take upon ourselves to do more community outreach, and by doing this, we offered more events. And there's a long list here of events that we've done in the last 7 months, but some of the more highlighting ones would be our first annual 7th Generation Powwow, which we held at the Obashing Boys and Girls Club. Very well attended, which is a powwow we will hold every year in Obashing in November. And also refurbishing our gymnasium in Red Lake by putting a new coat of paint all the way around, which also includes a one-of-a-kind mural painted by Red Lake band member Jonathan Thunder. Thank you. You know, with all of these initiatives, the restarting of the programs, securing our grant dollars, and providing more for the youth, the thing I'm most happy to report to you that in the second half of 2019, we've seen an increase of over 400 new enrolled members, which is a 25% increase to our enrollment population. So it's good to see that we got more kids coming to our clubs. We had a record year as far as days where we had over 100 kids at our clubs per day. And we also had a record year of outreach numbers and volunteers. So it's good to see our parents and community members getting involved in our tribal programs. And while I'm up here, this is a team effort. I couldn't do any of this without my staff fully supporting the ideas and visions that we want. So down the line, Devon Anderson, Natisha King, Lisa Brunn, Sherry Clark, Victoria White, Brandon Graves, Brenda Johns, Wanda Graves, Jacqueline J.R. Defoe, Jeff Roy, Emery Skinaway, Melissa Cloud, Casey Nelson, Kendrick Kingbird, Nick Defoe, Brannigan Patterson, and Andrew Jourdain. Your work matters the most because our time, our minutes, our program, our tribal and grant dollars invested into our youth is arguably the best investment we could do as a tribe because they are the future of our nation, and we love our kids at the Red Lake Boys and Girls Club. In closing, I wanted to say that I'm very proud of the collaborations we have done in the most recent months with the creation of the Youth Coalition, working with other programs to bring together more resources, events, and activities for our youth and for our tribal members has been a great success. And it's good to remember that what we do in life echoes in eternity. Ask not what your tribal nation can do for you. Ask what you can do for your tribal nation. Miigwech.
All right, next on our list is the Director of Economic Development and 2020 Census, Alicia Gaylor.
Bonjour, everyone. My name is Alicia Gaylor, and I am the Director of Economic Development and Planning. We're currently working on many projects, but today I wanted to highlight a couple of our newer projects that we're working on and the census for 2020. We're currently working on a food co-op, and this is a project that we're working on in partnership with Oglekani Enterprises and Four Directions Development. Throughout this project, we're working to expand the great work of the Gitaganake Food Initiative by training additional food producers who can supply more healthy food options for our community. We're also working on broadband, and we're very excited to announce that the Red Lake Nation was named one of the Blandon broadband communities for 2020-2021. And throughout this program, multiple departments will collaborate to develop community projects to enhance broadband access throughout the nation. Our charter school, so this is an initiative under the Wasabik Ojibwe Motadiwin program, and they are currently planning for a charter school that will offer additional language and learning options and educational options for youth in the community. And lastly, I wanted to touch on the 2020 census. The federal census day is starting on April 1st, and throughout the process of the 2020 census, gearing up for this program, I have learned a lot, and as a member of the Red Lake Census Complete Count Committee, I've had the opportunity to learn a lot more about the U.S. Census and the importance of the census for the tribe. The federal government uses census data in their funding formulas to determine the amount of money groups receive for essential functions such as roads, schools, health and human services, and so much more. The money follows the numbers, and each year's census data determines where an estimated $2,800 per person goes. And since the census is done every 10 years, this means each person that is missed in the count can impact funding up to $28,000 over the course of 10 years. It's so important that everyone in the household is counted, and children are the most undercounted, so make sure when you guys are filling out your census this year, count every single person in the home. The answers you provide are kept anonymous and are used only to produce statistics and in these funding formulas. Census jobs are also currently available and paying up to $19 an hour here in Beltrami County. These jobs are up to 40 hours a week, and individuals have the ability to choose their work schedule. You must be 18 years of age to apply, and to apply, please visit census2020.gov. It's important that our community members get these jobs so we can ensure an accurate count. We will be hosting a tribal census hand drum event on March 21st at the Humanities from 1 to 6 p.m. Highlights for the event will include hand drum contest, food will be served, there'll be drawings and giveaways throughout the day, and we'll have mobile enumeration assistants available on site throughout the event so individuals can complete their census at that time. More information will be posted on Facebook next week regarding this event, and we also have a table set up with additional information here today. Please come by and visit our table for more information, and be sure to complete your census as it dramatically impacts the funds for public services. We are still here and we count. Miigwech.
All right, coming up next, we have our Red Lake Nation College President, Mr. Dan King.
That microphone right there. Bonjour, everyone. Megazins Nendishinikas, Jagweshe Nendude, Marabimo Nendunjiba. Megazins, or Little Eagle, is my Ojibwe name, and Mink is the clan I'm from, and Redby is the town my family's from. My English name is Dan King, and today I'm reporting to everyone. I have a PowerPoint presentation for you. As my full-time job as president of the Red Lake Nation College, but I'm also very honored to be one of our 7 hereditary chiefs, and also highly honored to be a direct line descendant and hold the seat from our great chief, Medway Ganonen. So today, I have a 5-minute presentation that I'm going to give you the executive summary version of our biennial report. So if you want to flip to the first side, I have Danielle King, one of our staff members, helping me. And that's our mission for the college. And it's important to note that every student takes at least 2 Ojibwe language courses. We offer Red Lake history and culture, and this is the only place in the world to get this kind of an education with our history and our background. I like to tell people that we're so fortunate that we have a family college. Imagine that. We got a college for our tribe, for our family. So that's an amazing thing, and we treat all of our students like family. So you're not just a number here. We take care of our students. Like we like to say, it's a great place to start. So if you want to flip to the next, Danielle. So back in 2010, we set some really big goals. Our board of directors and our tribal council working together said, what do we want to do as a college? And we didn't want to be just affiliated with the Fond du Lac College like we were at the time. We said we want to be Red Lake Nation College. We want to be an independent tribal college. So we set a full 10-year goal to become fully accredited back in 2010. We said if we want to be a serious college, we need a 21st century campus. So that was one of our goals. And then we said we want to be independently funded so the tribe doesn't have to pay for everything. Want to flip to the next, Danielle? So how did we do on those goals? Let's take a look. Number 1, our accreditation. In 2016, I think you need to go back one. In 2016, we got our candidacy for accreditation status, and that allowed us to get federal funding for tribal colleges. In 2018, we had our biennial visit, which was very successful. And then, so this year in April 2020, we have our full accreditation visit where we'll be a fully accredited college this year in 2020. Number 2, the new campus. In 2010 to 2013, the tribal college led our community's efforts to do not only a new tribal college, but a new Red Lake Nation capital that you see over by the lake. And the college did a lot of the planning, and the tribal council fully financed and supported this. If it weren't for the tribe doing that, there's no way we would have that. So in 2014, 2015, we did the construction, and in 2015, we had a grand opening. So we met our timeline for that goal. Lastly, we said we want to be independently funded. In 2016-17, we did get our federal funding. And then in 2018, we needed an act of Congress, literally an act of Congress to get this passed. We became a USDA land grant institution, which means we can go after USDA grants, and then there's other funding available. So that was a big step for us as a college. And then also we were able to obtain other independent grants. So you go to the next one. Here's some of our success stories, just a couple. Michael Eisman is one of our top students. He's our class president right now. He's a veteran, did 3 tours of Iraq, and now he's our student council president, has a 4.0 grade point average, and he's a Coca-Cola scholarship winner, $5,000 a year he gets for that. So miigwech to Mike. And another student is actually a 15-year-old high school student, Alicia Infante. She's a 15-year-old student, PSEO, in the PSEO program that we do with the high school and the school district. Very successful program. We had 44 students last year. She's going to graduate possibly as a full high school graduate and a college graduate at the same time. So that's amazing. And Alicia was also our student of the month in November. So she's a top student. You want to go to the next one? So here's just a quick snapshot. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on these, but you can see some of our statistics from 2018. We had 140 students. You see that we had about 5% non-members. So we're getting more people from the surrounding communities are saying, let me find this right. You guys are half the price of state schools, and I can go there and transfer my credits to BSU. So we're getting more people, non-members, wanting to come to our college. And so we are set up for, like a lot of the students, look at 51% have children. So our students not only have families, full-time, part-time jobs, and then they're college students as well. So it's very challenging what they're doing. And then 76% of our students are first generation, the first one in their family to go to college. So we offer them extra help. And look at the financial aid. Per student, $11,700. That was in 2018. The cost of our school is only $4,200. So we offer a lot of financial aid for students. Want to flip to the next one? And that's the 2019 numbers. We were up to 160 students. Average age of our students is 29, so it's a little bit higher than most. Want to flip to the next? This shows our tremendous budget growth over the years. Just look at that top chart on the left. We started way on the left. If you can't see that, that's 2010, $250,000 budget. This year, $3.5 million. So about 1,432% increase in our budget over that time. So we used to be over at the old Humanities Center, and now we're in our new campus. So we kind of went, of the 38 tribal colleges in the country, we were one of the worst ones, and now we have one of the best facilities. If you want to flip to the next. So this is something the Higher Learning Commission looks closely at, is how much of your dollars go toward the actual education that you provide. And so they want it to be at least 60 to 70% is the industry standard. And look at, we did in 2018, 69%. And then in 2019, we're up to 79%. So most of our funding goes toward teaching students. So we're very proud of that. You want to flip to the next? This shows the diversification of funding. The big percentage right now, 26% from the BIE, 16% from a Department of Ed program, and then 16% from another Department of Ed program, and 16% from the tribe. This is important to note that the tribe owns the building that we're in, the campus, and they make the annual payment every year for the college. So that's $501,000. If it weren't for that contribution from the tribe, we would not be able to operate. So the tribe has been, some years they provided over $1 million a year in operational funding. So I think we should give it up for our tribal council for that support. In that 16% the tribe gave in 1920 year, that was about 95 to 100% back in 2010. So what that means is they don't have to provide every dollar of our funding, that they can go toward elder programs, police, courts, and all the other tribal needs. And then you also see tuition and fees that we raise from students, and then outright grants, about 14%. I'm gonna flip to the next. So this year, for the first time, we're starting academic scholarships, achievement scholarships, presidential scholarships for students who are high school kids. So spread the word to your family members and friends. 3.5 to 4.0 GPA, $4,000 for 2 years. We're going to provide these scholarships to students. And then also achievement scholarships for those with a 3.5 or 3.0 to 3.5. So we're trying to get more top quality high school kids to come here. So help us spread the word on that. If you want to flip to the next one. I also wanted to acknowledge some people who have been very supportive of not only, and this isn't them supporting in their jobs, this is them supporting dollars out of their pocket to help students with scholarships. So first, if I could have everybody stand, Oshki Majitada, Jerry Loud, stand up. His program has provided thousands of scholarships over the years for our students. Chairman Siki, Secretary Strong, Treasurer Annette Johnson, Robert Smith, and these are all people who are donating out of their pocket to provide scholarships. Representative Johnson, Representative Pemberton, Representative Kobanese, and Donovan Sather. I saw Donovan out there somewhere. So Donovan was one of our graduates, our top student, and also now he's a scholarship giver. So let's give everybody a round of applause. Do you want to flip to the next one, Daniel? So here's something we're doing. You know all those TVs we have in our classrooms? We have those 80-inch TVs. We paid about $2,000 for those, and it's about 5 years, so we need to upgrade those TVs. So that means we got all these extra TVs that really weren't, they were only used during classes. So they were gently used. We're gonna raffle those off. So we're gonna have 22 grand prizes, these huge TVs, and then 30 $100 gift cards. And so those will be available through this raffle. So if you buy 10 tickets, you get 3 free. So we're gonna be doing this until May 15th. So make sure you stop by and buy your raffle tickets. All the money is going for the scholarships. And then lastly, this is one of our new logos that we have. In following and putting our Ojibwe values into practical use in the real world. We're saying follow respect and love, which leads to compassion for everyone. And so that's one of our logos that we use on campus to tell everyone, no matter what your background, we're a safe place to come. Okay, if you want to flip. So just as I leave here, I just wanted to tell everyone we have a table outside. So if you have somebody who wants to register for next fall, which starts in August, we're registering today. And then also you can apply for those scholarships. And then we can come over to the college and buy some raffle tickets. Be good, everyone.
All right, now on to our next one and our last presenter before Chairman Siki comes up here. Melinda Crowley, the superintendent of the Red Lake Nation Schools.
Minona Okwe. Melinda Crowley Indigenous Chiomakwe Ndau, Muskagami, Ziga Agan, Gikanu Amadiwig, Wigamagoon. I am Melinda Crowley, the superintendent of Red Lake Schools, and I am incredibly honored to be here to speak to you and tell you about the wonderful things that are happening with the Red Lake children and youth of our wonderful nation here. Over the past several years, we have been redesigning our systems to prioritize language and culture in our strategic plans, budgets, and our staffing. In addition, we have developed and implemented many programs focused on social emotional learning, which helps even our littlest children regulate themselves and identify how they're feeling so that they can come to school ready to learn. The district has also been working to reduce the number of suspensions by implementing restorative practices and circle processes, restorative chats, and restorative language to help students and staff feel safe and build and maintain healthy community in which all the members feel connected and respected. These efforts have actually decreased in the past 2 years. We don't have the 1920 numbers yet, but in 17-18, we had over 541 suspensions. We decreased that to 312 in 18-19, which is a decrease of 229 days that students were still in school, a 43% improvement to keep our kids there. That was really the only piece I wanted to say about that. Now what I really want to talk about is what you saw at our table and what we're trying to do to improve the curriculum. We are trying to transform our district into a safe, culturally responsive learning environment by integrating language and culture into the curriculum and how we plan to infuse it through our campuses. We have listened to and heard the voices of the elders, students, parent advisory committee, tribal council, and community, advocating for the school district to prioritize language and culture, as well as provide opportunities for students to complete their schooling in Red Lake and become college and career ready. Our goal is to have language and culture integrated into our core academic curriculum areas so that students want to be engaged in their learning and they have the opportunity to graduate from our district having basic Ojibwe conversational skills. To accomplish this, our staff need training in the language and the culture. In order for students to have basic conversational skills in Ojibwe, when they graduate, students will need to hear the language for at least 20 to 30 minutes a day in their classroom. They need to hear it coming from their teachers and all of the adults that are surrounding them. We are adding more Ojibwe language and culture teachers and scheduling them as push-ins so that they will be sitting with the teachers in the classroom so both the children and the teachers will learn. We've incorporated cultural, hands-on, experiential learning activities throughout the year. Staff come with their students and learn aspects of Anishinaabe life such as ricing, snowshoes, lacrosse, maple sugar, snow snakes, and more. The teachers bring that new cultural learning into their classrooms and into the lessons. We are not teaching the culture, but we are using the culture to teach our children and our youth, because that's what makes meaning for them. We are articulating the language and culture transformation in all of our governing documents also. Our mission and vision statement, our strategic plans, our school assessments, our teacher development and assessment programming. The evaluation assessments used for children and teachers. Their lesson plans and their templates will reflect this. The reason we're doing this in all the governing documents is so that this push, this initiative will outlast all of the people who are standing here today working on it. We also maintain a website for language and culture that has playable and downloadable audio files on it. If you visit the secretary's table, you'll see they put together a sheet of labels to stick on things and label them in Ojibwe. It also has the website address on it, so you can take those. They're downloadable files that the teachers download and listen to on their phones as they're coming to and from Red Lake so that they can start working on learning the language. We have Ojibwe language signage in all of our rooms, our lunch menus, and even now the school board agenda is written in Ojibwe. Not totally, but. We are also publishing 4 children's books that are written in Ojibwe and that are based on Red Lake stories. These are some of the many things that our staff are doing throughout the district to transform our school into a safe, culturally responsive learning environment so our children can relate to the school curriculum and it has meaning for them, and they can be proud of who they are, be filled with confidence, and succeed in academics and all aspects of life. As I stated when I started, I am absolutely honored to be the superintendent of Red Lake Schools and to stand with all of you to support your youth and to help them grow. And it couldn't be done also without the help of all of the departments, the tribal council, the band, the elders that come in and volunteer in our school. This community is working together to raise our children. And the last thing I'm going to say, other than Miigwech Nibawa, is it's basketball season and we're going to go to state again.
On that note, also, the boys play tonight for part of the co-conference championship, and the girls play the second round tomorrow because they won their first round tournament game last night. So with that being said, let's move on to our main event. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce Chairman Darrell Seekey.
Ani na kine mai ai buju. Bangi magi go ju boy minute tune ni nongo ma kakaganu ni nagok. As I went out base in the Shina cars, which boy minute cars on, me gise do them. Video bashing. Miskazaiganing and Onjaba. Migani Indiga, Tashine Taugi, Guane, no Comisaka. Kimigo Chigum, Nogum Bishai. Van Nogum, Chibisidawang. During the Magui, Gishikayang, Uwe Midoanga, Gitish Koning. Nimigo Chua, Goga, and Gisoadma, Gazak Dimna. Uwege Ogimag, Nematabiot. Uwege got Kakadunta Moat. And the Kiwin is a bimiri doat. When the Magwig is your ever market Shkaniganan. Chicago Minister doing away just a bimina disit. Big as a Yishquayan or Jaboymayan. Now that I'll speak in my second language, and I know they said I only got 5 minutes, but I turned it into 5 hours. But first, before I start, I want to apologize to anyone who I'll offend, because I'm not here to offend anybody. I just want to speak what I believe in, and everything I say, we always say, Te Buewin, tell the truth. I want to recognize our tribal council, our chiefs, our spiritual advisor that did our starting prayer, and also the drum group, the Ogichidog, that brought in the flags, and also our royalty that danced in with their beautiful regalias. And all of you, as employees, dignitaries, visitors, that you heard all the programs that spoke, what they do. Otherwise, I'd be standing here 3 hours and telling their work. But I wanted them to tell you what they do with their staff. They do a lot of work. Let's give them an applause, please. And I know the superintendent talked about the high school basketball. I want to acknowledge the Red Lake Nation high school girls basketball team with their successful season again. And the coach, Pete Haltoson and Nolan Desharley. Miigwech for the job you do for the basketball teams. Also our boys. They're improving. And the coach, Roger White, I hope he's here because he's a mayor of Bernard. Bernard's that little town past going to Gonvick that way. We tease each other about that. Because one time there was a game in Oakley and he said, which way did you come from? Oh, he said, you just live a little ways there. No, I don't know if Roger is here. But anyway, now that being said, it's time to rock this building, right? Ho, ho, hey, hey, let's rock this building. Woo! Good afternoon, everyone. I see you ate your meals already. And it's an honor, and I'm humbled to stand before you to present the state banner. We are a sovereign nation, and sovereignty is our power. Red Lake Nation is very strong in beliefs of our traditions, culture, customs, teachings, revitalizing our language. We as a nation protect our lands, just like the other council member said, our waters, our air, our territories, most of all, you, our tribal membership, from golden age to our newborn and the generations to come. Standing together as a nation to overcome any obstacles we encounter makes us a strong nation. Prejudice and hate is not a tradition. However, we all face that as Anishinaabe people, but yet we continue to move forward. No one on the face of this earth should ever encounter discrimination, racism, but it still happens. The Creator, the spirits are with us to move forward, to love one another. Sovereignty is our power. We are strong as a nation. Now to start off the report, The 2019 has rolled by us as fast as, man, the year went fast. But Red Lake Nation has been busy year for all of us. On behalf of your tribe, the council, chiefs, all the program directors, all the businesses, all the construction people that were involved. Up to date, Red Lake Nation trading post was built and completed. 2 new fire halls, along with 2 new fire trucks. 4 new ambulances for Tuxu. Oren, I meant. The Minobimad project in Minneapolis. A washing treatment center. Dialysis center underway after a delay. And the solar project. The funds for the trading post came from various loans plus new market tax credit. And the fire halls, a washing treatment center, dialysis center from the USDA loans previously reported by the treasurer. The fire halls and the washing treatment center will be paid for by the 105L leases, which we just completed our agreements with BIA, but yet to be signed. I'll be signing those agreements for the fire halls second week in March, right after the council meeting. And the dialysis center will be paid through third-party collections for the patients and other matters that will happen in this dialysis center. However, we need an additional $1 million to complete the project due to change orders. I'm talking about a dialysis center. This is due to Indian Health Service requirement on ambulatory requirements for the addition. We wrote letters to Admiral Michael Wiki for assistance on our shortfalls for the dialysis center and washing treatment center. We also met with the Indian Health Service direct office in Bemidji. We were turned on by Indian Health Service stating they don't have available funds to allocate on our request. So we are looking for alternate funding for the shortfalls needed. However, working together, we will do it. In the horizon, post office in Redby, Panema, hemp project, and the vote on the medical marijuana, and the FCS complex on the bonding bill. Another initiative I'm interested in pursuing this coming year for the Panema district is a new retail center, a daycare, and new power arena. And I was approached by Representative Robert Smith regarding looking and helping to remodel the swimming pool at our Red Lake Humanity Center. This is a great idea, and I want to thank Robert, wherever he's at, for pursuing that. Chimigwech, Robert. And the Redby Community Board is requesting a power arena for their district. So those are the things that they'll be looking at the coming year. These are the upcoming initiatives we'll be working on to find funding. Funding will be the major issue we will face. However, working together, we can do it. The projects for 2020 to be completed is the Minobimad project in Minneapolis, completion of the Red Lake Center, washing treatment center, remodeling of the roundhouse in Panema, dialysis center, solar projects. So there's many things going on in our reservation. And as you heard the directors and the treasurer and the secretary reported, a lot of things going on. The 4 fourths that was passed. I was a half-breed, but I was full-blood at heart. But now I'm a full-blood. But I'm still full-blood at heart. Woo! Okay, and I want to talk about our IT department. What's IT? Information technology. You computer experts out there, you techs out there. I know I use my granddaughters to help me. After a turbulent 2018 in viruses and ransomware, the Red Lake IT department evaluated the overall security of our network and began addressing our security challenges. Consequently, 2019 was virtually virus-free. There were fewer than a dozen minor viruses reported throughout the year, which is a major achievement. They used the IT departments committed to providing a more secure network. Our current antivirus, coupled with a more secure spam filter, has led to overall greater security. However, this is only the tip of the iceberg as it relates to network security. A new firewall purchased and installed last year to add important security features to the network, including antivirus services at the gateway of the network before traffic even reaches the workstation level. The IT department is using layered approach for security with a variety of services to fight viruses. In the upcoming months, the wireless system will be moved to a new platform to better regulate the traffic on these devices and provide additional security from attacks from the outside. I can't match Sherry Goodman. I'm trying to go fast. Sherry, where you at? Both the firewall and spam filter provide information regarding attacks in progress, and all IT staff to take precautionary steps to prevent access to the network. And an outside consultant will be providing expert analysis of the network in 2020 and helping the IT team to provide an even greater level of security. The IT department also would like to thank the end users who have been helpful in alerting to email that might be potentially harmful. It takes efforts on all of our parts to limit attacks from the outside. In other news from IT, the IT department implemented an archiving system of the tribal documents last summer. There are literally millions of pages for documents in physical storage, which must be scanned and stored in a digital format to preserve them for the future. It is an exciting time for Red Lake as we begin moving to a paperless environment and setting an example in environmental consciousness. By the way, I have a cold, so you gotta bear with me, okay? If I lose my voice, I gotta back up. Where's my executive director? Our executive director, sorry, I'm just kidding. Looking to the future, the IT department has established a technology team to provide for transparency moving forward. This team will evaluate the technology plan and discuss future plans of the department. What short-term goal that will be addressed is the 2020 Windows 7 computers. Due to the end of life, it is important to replace these computers as soon as possible to prevent gaps in our security. In summary, the IT department is optimistic about the direction of network security, works daily to ensure that Red Lake's risks are limited. Okay, now update on the solar farm project. Since 2016, the Red Lake Band has been involved in the planning process for the development of a solar farm. The ultimate goal is for the Red Lake Nation to be energy independent so that we do not have to rely on any outside source for our electricity. From the beginning of the solar farm planning process, Red Lake has been working with Minnesota Power, an electric utility company in Duluth. The planned solar farm development will generate approximately 13 megawatts of power, and the solar farm will require approximately 100 acres for the solar panel installation. A major step in the solar farm development is the completion of the engineering study, which details the location of the solar farm in relation to the electricity transmission line, the size of the substation that will be required to accept the solar power into the electricity grid, and the design of the various components of the solar farm. I am happy to report that the engineering study was completed last month. The engineering study was estimated that the amount of solar power that will be generated by our planned solar farm will be sufficient to power 25 homes. This demonstrates that the solar farm that we are planning will put us well on our way to energy independent. Another important step in the solar farm development process is the selection of the location for the solar farm. Currently, we are in the site selection process. Locations both on and off the reservation are being evaluated. Once a location for the solar farm has been finalized, I will inform all membership along with the council and chiefs and all of us. A business plan was presented to the tribal council in the fall of 2018 for over 5 megawatts of solar panels to be installed on 12 major public buildings in the community. This includes government buildings, schools, casinos. The hard part is always where the money is going to come from for doing what community needs. But we are following the plans as funds are raised. The first solar panel, 68 kilowatts, on the roof of the government center was commissioned in December 2018. It was constructed by Solar Bear, that's a native Red Lake member, and unemployed 10 Red Lake members, and it was delivered over 80,000 kilowatt hours of clean solar energy to begin the job of replacing coal power. 3 solar panels totaling about 320 kilowatts are planned for Ushkimajatada. That will produce about 250 kilowatt hours per year for that facility. The installation will provide the perfect opportunity to begin the solar training program. There was a real installation. Read that right? The program there with a real installation on the buildings. The fundraising began 3 months ago and will be completed soon, possibly Friday. And then the solar panels and equipment will be ordered, and we plan to start construction of the solar panels in early May. We are planning the fundraising for putting 500 kilowatt solar panels with energy storage on the Panema schools so the school can remain open during short duration of power outages. We expect to have the funds to do the project and begin construction by fall of this year. We also think it was time to organize a solar project planning committee to help engage the community. This will eventually become the governing board of the Red Lake Municipal Solar Utility. Imagine that. We'll have our own utility business. Legislative update. This is from our lady that works for Red Lake. She's a Republican, and Donna Bergstrom sent a report. In 2019 legislative session for Red Lake was focused on getting legislation passed to include Red Lake as an initiative tribe for family and children services, which already been discussed. The bill came down to the last days of last season, but ultimately Red Lake prevailed, and the 2019 legislation included the Red Lake ban of Chippewas in the state initiative that directly deals with tribes and paying for child protection services. With 2019 behind us, we don't want to get right. We don't want to wait to get right into the action for 2020. This summer, work began on preparing for priorities with the state government. In 2020 legislative session, Red Lake is working on funding for the Family and Children Services Initiative. Red Lake identified legislative support for construction and building costs to provide adequate space to carry out the initiative. Red Lake crafted a plan that laid out a variety of options to obtain funding. To date, with the Minnesota legislative, both in the House and the Senate, have a bill that will provide $8.7 million to the Red Lake Nation to construct a new family and children's services intergeneration complex. This money will ensure the tribal initiative is off to a solid start. Be great, Sherry Goodwin. Another highlight with Minnesota government, on February 20th, just last week, a delegation of over 60 people, both from the Red Lake Nation and the support of the Red Lake Nation people that live in Minneapolis, spent the day at State Capitol talking with legislators from House and Senate, along with commissioners or their representatives from various Minnesota departments about issues where Minnesota government and Red Lake Nation interests interact. Governor Walz hosted an afternoon session for the delegation. On the federal level, efforts are underway to promote federal level changes to the travel transportation in better equity for the Red Lake in the travel reimbursement for our service road. This year, we have had the opportunity to change that funding formula that will make funding across Indian country and nationwide as based on needs, not on population. Red Lake has taken the lead on this for all tribes in Minnesota. Red Lake is always the first. I am committed to ensuring we have a good government services in relation to the areas where our sovereign nation intersects with that of the Minnesota state government and the federal government. I want to apologize to my friend here, Farron Jackson, and David Morrison from Boise Fort. Sorry, friends. The United States federal government self-governance, BIA. I'll talk about it. I know Dave talked. He shortened his speech from 2 hours to... Well, on March 7, 2019, I testified on behalf of the Red Lake Band of Chippewa Indians before the House Appropriations Subcommittee on Interior, Environmental, and Related Agencies regarding the FY 2020 BIA, IHS, EPA budgets. On Thursday, July 25, 2019, I testified on behalf of the Red Lake Band of Chippewa Indians before the U.S. Senate Committee on Agriculture, Nutrition, Forestry, hearing on the hemp product production and the 2018 Farm Bill. I thank the U.S. Senate Committee for the opportunity to testify about the opportunities that challenge the new federal hemp laws offers for Indian country. I mentioned the unemployment in Minnesota is below 3%. Ours remain to 40%. Because of the opportunity, our Red Lake Tribal Council, tribal government is constantly trying to create new jobs on our reservation. I thank the committee also thanks to the work of the many tribes and organizations in the Native Farm Bill Coalition. The 2018 Farm Bill opened the door for tribal governments to create new and sustainable opportunities for jobs and economic development by growing, processing, marketing hemp products. Several years ago, the Red Lake government began to develop the necessary legal and logistical infrastructure to grow and process market hemp products. We developed tribal law to guide our ongoing development of our regulation plan for hemp production. Processing and marketing lands have been set aside and shaped for hemp farming. We also issued a business permit for a tribal member who made plans for a joint ventures project with an experienced hemp grower. We as a tribe also explored agreements with seed providers from Manitoba and Colorado. Once for all of the requirements needed for the hemp production are met, we will start moving forward with this hemp initiative. On March 7, 2019, I presented the following that protects Indian country funding cuts in BIA, recessions, sequestration, and pay costs. Cutbacks have eroded tribal program funding. We need to protect and fully fund the BIA Tawahi recidivism reduction initiatives. Did I say that right, Dave? I know you're grinning at me. BIA Justice Services, Law Enforcement, Courts, and Community Fire Protection. Tribal Law Order Act was intended to give tribal law enforcement the resources to combat crime since the enactment began. However, law enforcement is here. BIA funding for tribal law enforcement has shrunk since this act was adopted. Every year we spend $5 million more than BIA provided, and that's awful. We are a self-governance tribe. We are authorized under this law to remove funds from other line items to cover the shortfalls. That's what's so unique to be self-governance. This is just an example, just one. We requested $20 million more to fight opiate for our law enforcement. $3 million for opioid crisis, for chemical programs. and requested 10 million for HIP, Housing Improvement Program. We requested an increase of 5 million more for Trust Natural Resources. Indian Health Service, there is a tremendous unmet need for IHS, tribal health programs, although there was an increase of 266 million in 2019. In 2020 funding, we asked for 7 billion for IHS. Are they going to listen to us? I don't think so. They always say, here I'm holding the United States Constitution. It's only part of it. The reason I'm holding this, our treaties are in this United Constitution. I want the dignitaries to know, if they ever read the United States Constitution, read this. The treaties are in here. Remember that, visitors, dignitaries, my friends. I hope you are still my friends. But this is it. We are there. The only one that can take us out of there is Congress, and which will probably not happen. I think there's some congressmen. I hope you take that message back to DC. Anyway, EPA programs, we asked more funds for that. And then I testified in 2020, February 12th, that's just not too long ago, on behalf of Red Lake Band, same thing, before the House Appropriations Subcommittee on Interior, Environmental, and related agencies. I started by my testimony that we are rich in our culture, language, and we face difficulties in meeting the needs of our members. With regard to healthcare, public safety, road maintenance, as direct result of government failure to uphold its trust responsibility and respect our treaties. I added my testimony to consider FY 2020 an appropriation and asked them that they remember the important role they play in not changing the discourse, the trust responsibilities, the treaties. I presented 5 main appropriation requests to the federal government. First, we, the Red Lake Nation, request that they continue to protect funding for Indian country from drastic and dangerous proposed cuts by this administration, as they have done for the past several years. Second, again, we requested that they provide advanced funding for BIA, IHS programs to help us avoid painful disruptions to our administration of vital services caused the uncertainty of continuing resolutions and government shutdowns. We should be getting mandatory funding because we're on the United States Constitution. Woo! Third, we requested that they make a permanent and expand BIA's Tawahi recidivism reduction initiative. Fourth, we work to make our reservations safer, free of dangerous drugs. We requested 20 more million for fiscal year 21. Additional funding for law enforcement, $3 million to continue to help our people from the addiction. The dangerous drugs like meth, heroin, opiates. We need the federal government to stand with us to make our reservations safer from the dangerous drugs that are out there. Our nation deserves to be healthy and safe. Wow. Fifth, we ask that they add the indefinite appropriations authority regarding the financing of 105L leases, which we already done for the Justice Complex, was signed already, and fire halls will be signed in a couple of weeks. And after we're done with it, once the Obashing Treatment Center is completed and given, or whatever they call that, that we can move in and start using it, and then we'll start negotiating with the Indian Health Service on this 105L lease. Mind you, they're the ones that told us about that, IHS. So Red Lake will be going after that. We're going to move forward. because of the team we have, we keep talking, but we keep reminding them, your trust responsibilities and the treaties, because it's the lives of you as Red Lake Nation member. No matter how many times we testify our needs, tribal nations are always forgotten, with many broken promises, time and time again. We go to Washington, knock on doors, they listen, but yet we get crumbs. And each tribe, the pot we get, it's crumbs, and we got to fight over crumbs. The federal government's got to do better on their trust responsibilities through our treaties. And this is about all I have. Imagine all the, I want to say again, Chimigwich, for the directors that presented. And that was cool, very cool. I want to thank them all. So I don't have to stand here 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, like, well, you think I'm done? I just started, hey? You guys already ate, so I'm gonna wake you up. Let's rock this building. Woo! Come on. Okay? This is all I have. And I'm glad you guys are here. I appreciate your presence, appreciate the presenters, Secretary Strong, Treasurer Johnson, Al Pemberton. He said he was gonna have a joke. I got one. Nah, I'll give him a break. But I usually end up trying to end up with something funny, and I got one. It's regarding a boxer, a fighter. Okay, is that okay? You guys, I hope there's no boxers in here. He might wait for me outside and pound me up. Okay, a fighter had an excellent chance to capture the championship if he trained diligently. Can't say. No, I lost that word. Diligently, but he couldn't, so I messed up my joke, huh? But he couldn't break the habit of indulging in New York nightlife. Finally, his manager or trainer was forced to lay down the law. He ordered his fighter, either you quit the nightlife until after the bout. He ordered, or I'll cancel the bout on the grounds that you're out of condition. The fighter agreed to behave himself. All went well for about a week. Then the manager found the fighter sneaking into camp at 4 in the morning. And he confronted him. Well, what's your alibi this time? The manager asked in disgust. The fighter said, I heard a noise. The fighter explained, so I got up to investigate. The manager asked, well, how come you're all dressed up in a tuxedo? The fighter responded, I thought it might be a beautiful lady burglar. Miigwech, everyone. Also, the rest of the day, workers, you got to work. You guys have a rest of the day off. Enjoy, be safe, have fun. Take care of yourself, take care of your family, take care of your kids, love one another. Woo, me, ew, gawaban in the name. Woo! Boy, you know, I gotta recognize the MC. He owes me $1 million, so of all the favors I did for him, and when we go to concerts, so I buy him drinks, you know. He said, buy me drinks, so I buy him. So he told me, he said, I'll buy you some. So he took off. So one evening, one night, he took off. I followed him. So he went to this tent, and I saw him. Here, the drinks are free. So I told him, you owe me $1 million.
It's not exactly how the story went. I'll save that for my book one day. No, I'd like to thank the chairman for asking me to come back again this year to MC his state of the band. I really appreciate it. Also, we got some winners for the drawings that were held out front. So if you hear your name, you can go see Lila and collect your prize. Robert Lusher, Tashia Strong, Sheila Hill, Kathy Dudley, Verlin Kingbird, Dwayne Columbus, Aaron Sayers, Dan Bellinger, Karen Spears, Brandy Skinaway, Francis Miller, Neil Lusher, Nikki Spears, Mel B., Cheryl Oakgrove, Heather Seekey, Marcus Tyler, and Haley Seekey. So if you heard your name, you can go see Lila out there, and she'll give you your prize, and then we're going to draw for the 2 grand prizes. The first one is a wireless security system with 3 cameras. Before Daryl got up here, I told him he has 5 minutes, and he didn't listen to me either. All right, here we go for the wireless security system with 3 cameras. Kristen May. Kristen May.
Yeah, must be present.
You got to be present to win. Is she here? She must be, huh? Go see Lila. She has your prize.
Out there, Kristen.
All right, and the grand prize, a 43-inch smart TV. The winner is Babe Morgan. Is she here? Oh, she's here? All right. Hey, we got winners on the first try. All right, everybody, I'd like to thank you all for coming out this morning and afternoon. Thanks for helping out and enjoying the state of the band with our chairman. You forgot some?
Yeah, I forgot to recognize my staff for the work they done. And also, I always forget to acknowledge my family because I always get in trouble not acknowledging them being here. Be good.
Also, we'd like to thank our sound guys from Northern Light Effects. They're the ones who set up the stage and the lighting and all that good stuff and the screen. So thank those guys for coming up to help us out again. And now we are going to ask our drum group, Iabe, to sing us the healing song, followed by the traveling song. So whenever you're ready, Iabe, take it away. And now they'll do the traveling song. the aisle so we can carry out our Eagle staff, please. Please clear the aisles so we can clear out our Eagle staff.